Good morning, good evening, and good day. Thank you so much for watching Attack Power Gaming. Today we're doing our deck tech for one of my favorite divisions, the 5th Motorized Cavalry. If you enjoy this content, hit that like button, and please, if you're one of the 65% of people who watch this video and don't subscribe, hit that subscribe button and keep this channel growing. Let's dive right in. All right, here we are with the 5th Cav. I like to play them balanced because they have a lot of depth in terms of infantry and stuff. You can build a long time. And it's actually just, I think this is a really good division. I really enjoy playing this division. In terms of weaknesses, let's talk about those first. Obviously, the tank tab can be a source of weakness, especially if you're a tanky sort of player. This is definitely not the division for you. They do have Stugs there. Stugs are good. You know, there is nothing wrong with a Stug. I take actually unvetted in B. I could take them in C, but the fact is, the numbers work out almost the same. Like if I bring these guys in B and then these in C, you get 17. Here you get 14. I would actually prefer a couple more leaders because then you keep that veterancy going. So yeah, I mean that's what you got to do. I mean, a Panzer II Lux is actually a really useful unit, but I would not suggest it over the Stugs because you do need your armor. But at least the armor you have is medium tanks. In other words, other spots too, artillery is a little bit weak. You're not getting any of the heavy artillery that German divisions enjoy. You can get 152mm off map, which can be very effective, and this thing actually has bombs, like cluster HEs, which are not like super effective, but they still do something, so like at least this is not completely useless if you're able to keep it alive. But remember, plain off map is a lot less useful than ground off map because people see it, they know, they get an idea where it's going to drop down. Also, it can be very easily stopped by AA, so if the opponent, once the opponent has a good AA net, you're not using it anymore. So those are the two significant weaknesses of the devs. Outside of that, it's very strong. Outside of those two tabs, it is very strong. Let's hop into what is the strongest part of this deck, and that is the Infantry Tab. And it has what I think is one of the best line infantry in the game, the Rosiori, as their main infantry. They have a great availability curve. It's 12, 24, and 32 in terms of unvetted. So 12, 24, 32, which means vetting them really doesn't punish you at all. I mean, they're just so good. They get a Beretta, and even though it's just one, it's still better than an MP40 or a PPSH. You get these rifles, which I think are technically a little better than the other ones. I'm trying to look here. The problem is they have two different amounts of guys, so it's not going to be exact. I could be wrong. They could be the... Oh, here. There. This is a bolt action rifle, 0.7. So yeah, the suppress on the Rosiori is a little bit higher. The accuracy is higher. The base accuracy is higher. And the rate of fire is higher. So everything about this rifle is actually a little bit better than all the other bolt action rifles. So that's huge. It's certainly not semi-automatic, but it's better. Then you get an automatic rifle. Now this is no MG34 or 42, but the fact is this shoots at close range, which makes these guys effective at close range. And they get an AT grenade. Like, I mean, it's just the whole package for 25 points, which is really, really good rate. So I love these guys. You know, I take a card in each. You could take more. I'm always tempted to. You get this card of Grenadieri, which are fantastic. They're sniper infantry. It's just a 10-man squad with a machine gun and a sniper. I mean, come on. That's awesome. You get these Pioneers, which for whatever reason are at a line infantry availability of 918. So you get like a card of 9 Pioneers. You usually get 5. Like, this is awesome. So you just have so much close range power at any point with having tons of Pioneers. You could take them in B and have 18 of them. I mean, it's nuts. Your leader has a Panzerschreck. I mean, come on, that's great. Panzerschrecks are awesome. You can tell I'm very high on this deck. Begleich Grenadiers, very solid unit. If I was going to take any of these infantry out, it would be this one. I would take this one out and put maybe these Rosiori assaults here, assault squad, because it's a 12-man squad. It's got 4 Berettas. It's got Molotov cocktails. My only issue with this sort of squad is once they run out of cocktails, they're not that great anymore. You know, once they run out of this, they're okay and they're still good, but they're not great anymore. So I kind of like these for a little bit more flexibility, and MP44s are still very strong. But then you get these Pioneer assaults. These are extremely good. They are double flamethrower, 10-man double flamethrower teams. Really, really strong. These will melt basically anything in close range. And then I take a C card of the Rosiori. You have these Rosiori PMs. These are not as good. They just have the anti-tank rifle. They could be useful, I guess, but they're only 8-man squads, and they're definitely not better than the other options here. I would love if there was one more slot here for you, but there's not. And then they have normal pioneers, which are at the normal curve here. You can see they're at the normal 5-man curve. I don't care. I don't know. Also, these have double machine gun too, so they are effective at range. Just awesome infantry, like really above the curve infantry in this deck. Your recon tab, really strong as well. You get these Calarossi. I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure. They are sniper infantry squads. It's a full 10-man sniper with a Panzerfaust. Awesome. And you get a nice 2, 4, 8 curve. I mean, it's not a lot, but you can call them and have plenty of them. So you're going to have eyes everywhere. AB Usors, AB Horses, 2 autocannon vehicles. You can also call in this light tank here if you wanted to. The only issue is it's really slow. That's why I don't. You also have more snipers. I mean, there's just snipers everywhere. Just snipers. If you want them. It's awesome. We talked about the tank tab. Support tab is not great. I wouldn't call it a weakness, but it's nothing above average. You get these Brettas, which are actually really good. They fire at 20 rounds a minute. These actually kill infantry pretty good, just because they fire so darn fast. They don't do much damage, but they just shoot really fast. They can absolutely kill lighter vehicles for sure because they fire so quickly. So definitely a useful unit. Hotchkiss, I've taken the Hotchkiss over the ZB because of the range. For no other reason other than the range. Yes, they do more damage. I don't really actually care about that. It's the higher range that makes these a little bit more useful. And then just supply cart. And you do want a commandant in this deck. You want to be able to vet these guys to the moon. You want to get these guys to 3-star, and they're almost untouchable. They just kill everything. So using that commander is really important in this one. Anti-tank tab, there's not a lot of variety, but I love this anti-tank tab. It's got a lot. You can like spam the crap out of these M32 AC 45 mils. I'm taking them double vet because if you're going to have them, you want them to hit, so they'll hit very consistently. They shoot pretty fast. Their APCR shells can actually penetrate, stuff. T-34s, Shermans, all the German medium tanks. I mean, this thing can penetrate medium tanks okay at 1,000-meter range. It's going to do it all right. The AP shells are 75 millimeter, so they're not great, but they can pin Panzer IVs and stuff, so really useful. One of the best AT guns in the game, the Rosita. They come limited availability, so you need to be careful about how you use them. You don't get a ton, but they have 160 millimeter penetration at 2,000-meter range for only 70 points. So good. And their HE shells have infinite range, so they can hit everything like a ZIS-3. It's awesome. You get a card of Panzerschrecks and these Puska Anthakars, which are one of the best AT rifle infantry in the game because they have 2 of these things. They have a 500-meter range. They're just so good. These, get them out at the beginning of the game and kill stuff. They will kill things. Armor cars and stuff melt to these guys. AA tab, really good too. You get Bofors, which are awesome. Hotchkisses, they're okay. They're not great, but they're better than just a straight 20 mil, and you can bring them in with the cars, which help a teeny bit. And then you get these Vickers 75 millimeter guns, which are not awesome. They're really not fantastic, but they do give you that extra reach. So you get the light, medium, and heavy AA, which is great to have. Artillery tab, like I said, a little bit lacking. I'm taking the 60 millimeter mortars because they fire so fast, and I'm taking this card of B card of 122 mils. They're not great. They can kill tanks. I mean, these things will 1,500 meters kill a tank in one shot. So if you're desperate for an AT weapon, like more than your Rositas, these can do the job. But I really have these to kind of like counter arty spam if someone does it. I don't really call them in unless someone else starts arty partying me. You can get the 152 millimeter off map. It is useful, but I don't like it because it gets, once the opponent has some AA up, you can't get them in anymore. And then your air tab, really strong. You get this great air tab. The IAR-37 is one of the best recon planes in the game, in my opinion. It has 12 50-kilogram bombs. It will kill whatever it bombs. In terms of infantry or support weapons, it will kill whatever. It's really good. It's only 55 points. Bring it at the beginning and mess up their start. JU-87s and HS-129s. HS-129s, I think, are not as good. The JU-87 it definitely kills more consistently, but you get 3 cards of AT planes. There's not a lot of divisions that get 3 cluster cards. It's really strong. These IAR rocket planes, they're all right. I'm actually using them more as my A-phase fighters, and I do want some sort of ground attack thing when I need it to hit a support weapon or something once my IARs get attacked, because they will. People will call stuff in because they're so slow. And then a card of BF-109 G-Force. R6, I mean, I won't lie, these BF 109 E7s are actually really good for their cost, 65 points. I had these in, but I took them out to free up that 3-point slot. You could also, like, maybe not use the JUs. The JUs is solid. It's not amazing, but it's solid. So for some late game big bombs, they're not that big. That's the thing. Why this over the HE? Because the HE 111 only has medium resilience, which makes it really bad comparably to the GAU 88, which has very good resilience. These things will die actually relatively quick. The IAR 80M is too slow. The problem with this thing is its speed. It's just too slow. I used it for a while and it just can't catch anything. So the BF 109 is actually a lot better. And calling them in phase A, it can be, I mean, this thing can do way more damage than it should be able to at 65 points. So this is the 5th Cav here, built at Balanced. Fantastic division. I highly suggest you that you use it. I already filmed a whole bunch of games with it because I kept honestly winning really fast with it, and I needed to film that many times to get a good one, and I did get a good one. So make sure you watch that Let's Play when it comes out. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button and have a fantastic day.